Hello, I'm Alexandra and welcome back to my channel. Goodreads recently came out with a list of the most popular books of the 2026 reading challenge, and that was the cat. And well, I don't use Goodreads anymore, I prefer Storygraph, but I still wanted to talk about those most popular read books. Anyways, I've read quite a lot. There are 11 categories and I've read books in 10 of those. There's just one that I haven't read anything, so grab a drink. It's gonna be a long one, but I'm gonna talk about the books and say did I enjoy them? Do I think they're worth the read? We'll see, okay? Let's start with contemporary. I've read 2 books from that category and yeah, enjoyed one of them, not so much the other. So let's talk about the first one. It's Remarkably Bright Creature by Shelby Van Pelt. I believe this was made as a movie, so maybe that's why it's very popular. And this, you're following Tova Sullivan, who started working at the aquarium. So then Tova becomes very close to an octopus that lives at the aquarium. Just a bunch of things happening. Honestly, I don't remember it that much. I listened to it as an audiobook and remember not liking it. So maybe that's why I don't remember that much. Maybe the movie is good, I have no clue, but the book for me, it's not worth the read. I don't know how long it is. Let's check. It's 384 pages and yeah, for me, not worth it. Then the second book in that category that I have read is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I remember liking it very much. I listened to it again as an audiobook, which is something I used to do quite a lot. So I would read the newer releases as audiobooks because they were easy to get my hands on from the library. The ebook or even the physical book sometimes very hard to get my hands on, so listen to a bunch of books. Okay, so in The Midnight Library, you're following this girl who passed away and she has the chance to relive her life with different choices, and honestly it was very good. It's not my type of book, it's not what I usually read, but I enjoyed it very much. I also realized that it's a series. I don't know how many books, but this is book 1 of The Midnight World, so I'm guessing there's a book 2. Will I read it? I don't know, but I do think The Midnight Library is worth it. The next category is historical fiction, and this I've read 7 books out of 12 that are on the list. Honestly, I used to read quite a lot. It's something that I enjoy. Still enjoy to this day, but I'm more into romance right now, so that's why I haven't read any newer releases, but still 7 books. Let's start with a classic, Wuthering. I never know how to pronounce that book. I'll put it here. Anyways, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. And my main issue with that book is people consider this as a romance. I don't. It's not a romance, okay? So in this, you're following Heathcliff. I mean, do I really need to talk about this? Because it's a classic. I feel like everybody on BookTube, Book Talk, book lovers know what this story is about. But basically you have Heathcliff who has been adopted. He falls in love with his sister, again adopted, and his sister marries someone, and then Heathcliff's just been very annoying. Anyways, I do like this book, but not as a romance, just as a classic, gothic classic. It's dark, there's a bunch of things happening, but honestly I do think it's worth the read if you know you're not going into it reading a romance, okay? So that's for this. Then we have a couple of Kristin Hanna's book. I've read most of her books and I enjoyed most of them. We'll start with The Nightingale. In this you're following 2 sisters, Vianne and Isabel, in the World War II. So you're following them as they attempt to survive this while also helping French resistance and all of that. Honestly, it's the first book I've read by her. Not my favorite, but it's a good start and it's very good. Yeah, nothing else to say. If you have never read anything by Kristin Hanna, you should. She's very good, and yeah, I cried in a lot of her books, so be warned. Then The Woman, which was for me way better than The Nightingale. So It's the last book I've read by her, if I'm not mistaken. And this, you're following women in the Vietnam War, which was the first time women were able to go fight in the US. Yeah, so you're following this nurse who trained to be a nurse, went to war, bunch of things happening there. It's intense. Nurses were able to do a bunch of things that they were not able to do back home. So they had more like an, I guess, doctor's assistant role. So they were like in the operating room doing a bunch of things. Super nice. If you didn't know, I'm a nurse, so yeah. And then this woman comes back home, realizes that she doesn't know who she is. She has trouble adapting to this world. And yeah, bunch of things happening, and honestly, it's incredible. I think this has to be my favorite book by Kristen Hanna. It's worth the read for sure. Then on the historical fiction list, we have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I went into this listening to the audiobook, which I think was a great way to read that book. So you're learning about the life of Evelyn Hugo, who was not in the right time for her love life, we'll say. So she got married a bunch of times with a bunch of people, and you're just following her life as you learn why she got married so many times, which is heartbreaking. Honestly, it's a good read. It's worth it. I haven't read a lot of Taylor Jenkins Reid. I used to, not anymore. I don't know about her newer work, but this one, worth the read. Then another historical fiction is The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhorn. And this, you're following a midwife in Maine during the 18th century. And you're following her as she helps women give birth. And there's a bunch of things happening. It's a bit of a thriller, I would say. What I remember the most about this book is not believing the story. It felt out of time. It didn't felt like this was happening in the time the book said it was. So that's my main issue, but it's still a good read. You could read it. It's not bad. Yeah, out of time, out of place. It felt weird. Then, let's go back to Kristen Hanna. We have The Great Alone, which is the story of a family that moves to Alaska. There's this woman, her daughter, and the guy. And the guy beats his wife. Now that they live in Alaska, they're all alone. And it's the story of women trying to survive domestic violence in a time where women could not even have a bank account. Maybe they could, anyways, no credit card for sure. So yeah, heartbreaking. You're gonna cry for sure, but it's worth the read. Kristen Hanna is always worth the read. Then a book that I'm not gonna talk that much about is James by Percival Everett. I did start the book, put it down like 10 pages in, was not interested whatsoever. But the critics have been good, so I think it's worth the read, but it didn't work for me, unfortunately. Maybe eventually I will give it a second chance because I didn't get that far in the book, so maybe it would happen. Now the next category, thrillers. I've read 0. I used to read more, now not that much. I'm reading thrillers, like Greg Al's my main thing right now, but I'm not reading newer releases, so 0 books from the thriller categories. Now, romance. I've read 5 books, 3 by the same writer. We have A Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. I feel like everybody knows about this. You're following Shane and Ilya as they meet. They're trying to discover themselves and all of that. Good book. Not my favorite in the series, but still good. Then People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I've read that a long time ago. I say that, but it came out in 2021, so I guess I read it in 2021. That's still 5 years ago. You're following Poppy and Alex. So yeah, these people have a big history. They go back on vacation together. Now that I'm like, I don't remember anything about this. I still remember liking it very much, but I couldn't even remember the name of the people, so I don't know. It's still worth it. I enjoyed myself a lot, but I don't remember anything. I don't know if it's a sign or something, but then we have Game Changer by Rachel Reed. This you're following, oh my god, I forgot the name of the people. Anyways, we see them in the TV show the guy from the Admirals in New York City, and Kip, and I don't remember. Anyways, it's the first book of the series. It's good. Not my favorite again, but it's good. It's like the same as Game Changer. But then, next one, we have The Long Game by Rachel Reed, third book in the series. Oh no, I got mistaken. I thought it was Tough Guy. Tough Guy is the third book in the series, my favorite. But The Long Game is book 6. It's the continuation of Ilya and Shane. I'm not there yet, so I haven't read. Sorry, I haven't read The Long Game, but I know why it's there, because it's Ilya and Shane. But if you have read book 2 and book 6, honestly, you should read the rest of the series. They're all very good. And hopefully they do keep on with the TV show and they talk about the rest of the books. Then let's go back to Emily Henry. A funny story. So there's this girl who was dating a guy, and this guy who is dating a girl, and the two other, they get together and they get engaged. So that leaves the two alone, heartbroken, devastated, and all of that. But then they get together, they become friends, and the rest is history. I think I've read this not too long ago. I think I'm gonna remember it much more than people who meet on vacation. So the thing is, with Emily Henry, I feel like she got very popular very quick, and then I guess she got pressure to write more books, and her newer books are not maybe as good as the others. I don't know. I haven't read Emily Henry that much lately, so maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Then we have the category of romanticities, and in this I've read 4. 3 from the same writer, same series, and all of that, and I feel like it's so popular that I don't really need to talk about it. But anyways, A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, and A Court of Wings and Ruin. Do I need to talk about them? No. Do I think they're worth reading? Yes, they are. I feel like there's a bunch of people criticizing this series and all of that, maybe. Anyways, I think it's the first romantasy I have read, so it owns a special place in my heart. I enjoy them, okay? I've tried other things by Sarah J Maas, did not work for me, so for me it's a very good series. And in this, I've also read Quicksilver by Callie Hart, and I did not enjoy reading it. But the thing is, you know, when I was like prepping for this video, I was like, I still think about this book quite a lot, but I did not enjoy it, so I don't know. I think there's this following up book, I'm not gonna read it, but I still think about this book, but I did not enjoy reading. It's like, is it hate and love relationship with that book? Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, I will not be reading anything else by Callie Hart. Fantasy. I have read 4 books from the fantasy list. I'm surprised with the books that were in that list, but not like there's books missing for me. But anyways, The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is a retelling of the Iliad. I have read the Iliad by Homer, the original book, and I did not enjoy this retelling. Maybe that's why I haven't read anything else by Madeline Miller, because this did not work for me. I respect people that loves it. Retelling of like Greek stories is always something good, because they're quite difficult to read, the original version. So if the retelling is what worked for you, good. It's from a woman, also good, just didn't work for me. But I do think it might be worth the read if you're interested in that. Then we have The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I listened to this as an audiobook. Okay, so it's a house that houses 6 dangerous magical youth. Honestly, I don't remember anything about that book, so I have nothing to say. Was it good? I don't even remember. Did I hate it? Clearly not, otherwise I would have remembered it. So I think it was good, but not memorable. So I'm not gonna say if it's worth it or not. I have no clue. Then we have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. Schwab, and I did try to start that book, put it down like 10% into it, so just wanted to mention that I did try it. It didn't work for me. V. Schwab, all the books I've read by her did not work. Yeah, not worth the read for me. Then Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, very much worth the read. I've read almost everything by Brandon Sanderson, so Mistborn is the first book in the Mistborn first trilogy. I'm now reading the second series, which is 4 books if I'm not mistaken. So Mistborn, honestly, very good. Also a very good way to start reading Brandon Sanderson, because the first book is not that thick compared to other books by him, so always a good world building, fantasy like world, very good. If you have never read Brandon Sanderson, it's worth the read. You should read it. Then let's change the categories. We're now into science fiction, which surprisingly I've read 3. I don't read science fiction, so the fact that I've read 3, amazing. Let's start with the first ones. We have Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Okay, so in this there's a color-coded caste system. There's a rebellion from slaves and underground miner who tries to like go up the caste system. Honestly, I don't remember much about this. I think I listened to the audiobook. There's a second book. I have not read it. I will not read it again. I have not read it. Anyways, I don't remember that much, so I don't know. Anyways, then the second book, The Martian by Andy Weir. I remember liking the humor in this book, but I don't remember that much. I think I remember more the movie, which is bad, but anyways, that's it for The Martian. Then Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. Okay, so in Never Let Me Go, I was looking at what it says it was and I don't remember reading it, but I'm sure I read it because I was reading the winner of the Booker Prize, and this won the Booker Prize in 2005, so I know I've read it, but I have no clue. I just remember another book I've read by this writer, Clara and the Sun, which I hated. So I feel like the fact that I don't remember anything about this is the proof that for me it's not worth the read. I'm not gonna go into the story because even if I read what it is about, I can't talk about it because I don't remember anything. Very forgettable, not worth the read for me. I do think it's just not my type of books, so that's why it didn't work. So maybe if you're into science fiction, that could work, but for me, no, didn't work. Anyways, let's move on to horror. I've read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. It's probably the only horror book I have read because I hate reading horror. I just hate it. Frankenstein, it's a classic. I really like this book. I like watching adaptations. I'm always not happy with it. For me, Frankenstein is about the way we see beauty in life. So maybe that's why I don't like the adaptations, because they never really talk about that. There's this guy who is a monster, but is well educated. He was nice, just trying to figure out where he fit in the world. He just wanted someone to accept him for who he was. That's why he asked for a wife. Like, for me, it's about beauty. It's a good book. I recommend it. To each their own conclusion on what this book is about. Then memoirs. Surprisingly, I've read one. It's Educated by Tara Westover, and this is following the story of this girl who was from a cult. I don't remember, was it Mormons? Anyways, she did not go to school until university. She did learn how to write and read by herself, and then she managed to get a PhD. So the whole story, very good. Like, it's crazy to think about those people who do not get an education and how sad it is for them, but still there's ways to get their education eventually. A very good book. Then general nonfiction, I have read the Anthropocene Reviewed. So it's a collection of personal essays by John Green. It's more like a podcast type of book. I did really enjoy it. I remember enjoying it that much. Do I remember what it was about? No, but the writing was good and the topics were interesting. So also I listened to it as an audiobook, which I think you should do if you want to read this book. Then last category is histories and biography, and I've read Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by, now I don't remember. This is very good. I've read it like 2 or 3 times. I've also read the other books in that series, and honestly, if you're interested in histories and just want something easy to follow but very interesting, you should read it. Very good. It's in my top nonfiction books of all time. But yeah, that's it. These are the books I've read from the Goodreads reading challenge of this year. And yeah, I do have read quite a lot, which is surprising because I don't do popular books that much. Most of the time they do not work for me, but these, surprisingly, very good. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye!